Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. Today we have a new Jayce build that I think is actually really strong that I've been trying out. So the build is, so for the runes first, I go First Strike, Sudden Impact, Empowered Attack, Eyeball Collector, and then either Giant Slayer or Legend Alacrity, Giant Slayer into tanks, Legend Alacrity otherwise. And then for the build you go Sundered Sky, Trinity Force, Black Cleaver, Mortal Reminder, and then whatever defensive item works well in the game there. And it's really good into Bruisers. So I do really like this build into Bruisers and everything. And so I'm just going to kind of show you guys the build and just talk about playing Jayce in general. So here you saw we got a lot of value level 1 out of this, and then we end up just zoning him off of multiple minions. Getting a huge lead here, just a really good start into the lane. And this is what you can do against a lot of champs. You can kind of abuse your level 1 power as Jayce in your range. And so we're able to get a very big lead, as you saw here. And that's kind of something as well. If you want to know where I got this build, I was watching a Chinese Jayce player play it, and I thought it actually sounds really good. So I wanted to try it out. Played it for about 4 games on stream today, and did really well in the games. The build felt really nice. And so I wanted to show you guys a game here. And then again, you see how we're abusing the fact that we're a level up on him. And then here I mess up by not hitting my E a little earlier, so then we end up not killing him. So because of the fact that I'm going for Giant Slayer and not Legend Alacrity, I kept messing up my combos because I was used to a different amount of attack speed, and I didn't even realize this until later, but it was the fact that I had a different amount of attack speed that kept like making me miss an auto attack, because I was thinking my auto is going to go slightly sooner. And when you play so many games of a champion with a certain amount of attack speed, when the attack speed becomes slightly different, you really don't get used to it. So that was kind of a funny thing that you'll see a couple times here, where we're going to end up, I think, like trading 1-for-1 because of that fact. But here again, you'll see how the wave is in a really good spot. We're trying to keep it here, which is another thing that I've kind of been, when I watched this Chinese Jayce player, and I've been watching some Chinese Warwicks as well, to try to learn how to play these champions. Obviously, I know how to play Jayce, but I was trying to learn Warwick especially. And I really noticed how much these people actually stay on lower health, and they'll stay when they have a lot of gold and kind of really try to push their leads. And I've been noticing that and trying to incorporate that into my own gameplay, because normally I really try to play very much around the rules of the game, if you will, where like I'm trying to play around level timers or recall timers and trying to play really well. And this is a good thing to do against good players, and it's a good thing to do when the enemy jungler is pathing towards you. But it also makes it harder to carry games oftentimes, and so I've kind of been trying to go away from that a little bit, try to be a bit more greedy in general. I think I'm just not a greedy enough player. I value consistency a bit too much here, but then you see we get a nice trade onto our Yone here, because again, the wave management and the fact that we denied him a lot of gold early game meant that he was pretty weak there, and then our jungler is able to get a nice gank off. So that actually worked out really well. But yeah, I'm really trying to kind of test limits a lot more when I play, and really put myself in a position to actually carry games, because I've been having trouble the last like 2 or 3 days. We kind of been losing a lot, trying to figure out, you know, what we can do differently. So that's one of the main things I'm trying to switch up, especially when I'm playing top lane. I feel like that's one of the more aggressive lanes where I really like playing early game champs, where I can and often will have really big leads. So I've been trying to do a better job of that. But you see here, we're already in a pretty good spot. Obviously, so far the build that we have is pretty standard, because we just have boots. So this is like what I would normally be going, but obviously once we finish Sundered Sky, you'll see the real damage here. And then here's what I mean by the attack speed. You see how I didn't get an extra auto there, so I had to flash to kill him? That's because I was used to my auto attack speed being quicker at that point. And so I thought the auto was going to go up slightly sooner. So you saw that I like canceled my auto by backing off. And I didn't realize that at the time, but I was like, how did that not go off? Like, I was like, I guess I just messed it up. But then when I thought about it, I was like, oh, it's because my rune choice was different. So we end up having to flash under the tower to kill him. Still good. I still have a really big gold lead on him, so there's no issue with that. But obviously a little funny there that we end up dying because of that. And so now wave is pushing into me. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to grab the Scorpion most likely, or try to fight him over the Scorpion if I can. A lot of times you can use the Scorpion as kind of a bait, where then you can get a big trade on him. So I'm expecting that maybe he's going to go there, so I go into the bush to see if I can sneak onto him, and then we do exactly that. We get a lot of damage on him, and then we get the Scorpion as well. Have him very low, so he probably has to recall, and now we can kind of pressure pretty easily, pressure his turret. Which is also something I'm trying to do as well, is be a little less worried about getting every XP and every like minion, and be more worried about sort of pressuring him off the wave so that I can stomp the lane harder. And again, this is a risky thing, but I think it's a good thing to do when you're really like in a very like when you're sovereign. A lot of times you're matching with mostly master and grandmaster players, so the skill difference is pretty large, honestly. And when the skill difference is large like that, and again, you see here the auto attack thing, kind of the same thing. But when the skill difference is that large, for me, I'm trying to play to really stomp the game and hard carry rather than playing to just have a bit of a lead. Whereas say I was playing like a challenger player, right? Or playing against a good player, sometimes playing this over aggressive style might not work. But here you see I have a 1500 gold lead, and even though my team is behind, I'm very far ahead, and so I'm going to really try to make the game about myself. And I think this kind of playstyle makes the game about yourself. It's a very selfish playstyle where you're really playing overly aggressive, keep going in, keep trying to test your limits. And it's just been working out well for me, so I'm going to continue trying it. And again, I think it's kind of a good way to just carry games that otherwise would be kind of uncarryable. And a lot of times if you have a good team, even if you make a few mistakes, it's fine. This playstyle will cause you to make a lot more mistakes. Like, you'll die a lot more. You might, you know, throw a game or two here and there. But at the end of the day, I think that's kind of fine, because it's kind of just something you accept. You're also going to be able to carry more games this way. And so I don't necessarily, you know, think the way that I used to play is obviously bad. And I'm still, you know, I still to an extent will still play safe and kind of change based on the game and everything. But this style that I've been doing, again, it's been working well, and I want to keep trying it, especially on really aggressive champions like Warwick, for example, as well. I've been doing it. Definitely going to give you guys a Warwick video soon. I'm getting a lot better with Warwick, but still not like amazing at him. So I want to get a bit better and be a bit cleaner, and then be able to give you guys a Warwick game, ideally in top lane or jungle. I think he's really good in both roles. But here you see how, because of the fact that the Yone went to the mid lane, we end up just getting this bot turret for free. So getting first turret, really snowballing our lead. And then here is when after I should probably recall, since I have my item now. So that's exactly what we end up doing there. Just going for the recall now that we did hit the full item, because that's obviously a good time to recall. And so then, yeah, here, Sundered Sky and then Trinity. Now that I'm almost halfway towards Trinity as well, and I have Sundered Sky, I'm in a very good spot. And I'll go mid here now as well. That's kind of another thing I've been looking for more, is sometimes give up the side lane, or don't always worry about, you know, going straight back to your lane and clearing your lane first. Again, I'm kind of trying in some ways to break the typical rules of the game in order to carry harder by giving myself more like opportunities to kill and really snowball against the enemy. Like here, even you see we end up going on the Yone here and then getting the kill onto him. And that's, again, because of the fact that I didn't immediately go bot lane. Whereas normally if I'm coaching someone or I'm making a video to tell you guys, I would say go bot lane first and then go help afterwards. And that is correct. That is what you should do. But I'm trying to find these opportunities now to break the rules in order to get these additional leads that really allow me to completely 1v9 and carry a game. So again, even here, I might have recalled earlier. If I was, you know, being a little bit dumb, it would have been kind of dumb to recall because I didn't have that much gold and I was full health. So instead, I stay up and I try to overly pressure the turret here, because again, even if I do die, it's not that big of a deal. So the risk reward, like there's a lot of reward for potentially killing the enemy here, and there's not very much risk if I do end up dying. So you see here, we try to juke the Yone. We do a pretty good job of it. He does land the ultimate though, but then we end up getting the kill. And so even here, I stay for the turret because I don't really care that much if I get caught. Now, obviously, Viego ends up killing me, so that's unfortunate, but I didn't really care that much if Viego does kill me or doesn't kill me, because I knew either he kills me, oh well, I'm still really strong, I'm still going to be able to carry later, or he doesn't kill me and I get an entire turret. But even if I do die, there's no objective up, there's nothing really to lose out on. And you can see here I'm up almost 4,000 gold on the enemy Yone. And that's kind of how this style, you know, allows me to stomp people a lot harder. So again, this really works well on aggressive early game champions when you're really skilled at them and you have a lot of experience on them. It's not as good if you're not able to really consistently get leads, obviously, because then you have to play a bit safer, play a bit differently when you don't have these huge leads, but it is a good way to get a big lead. And then here, because the bot lane's pushed, I end up going top side instead, trying to make a play there. Again, that's another thing. I'm trying to be able to impact the other lanes a bit harder, so I end up going and doing that. And then we try to get the Jhin, but we don't get him, but we do end up finding the Garen there, so that's obviously good. And then I tried to see if I could kill him, but couldn't end up. Yone now comes, but I think we're still able to just get this turret here for free. Again, because of the fact that we're really kind of playing around, and we get the Yone gets caught in the end as well. We're really playing around, you know, actually being able to try to hard impact the game and rotate and kind of impact more lanes and fight more often, all that type of stuff. Almost got the Viego there, very, very low. Very unfortunate. I think I might end up killing Jhin here, just under his turret. Yeah, you can see that burst damage. So there's really the builds starting to come in where you can see how much damage the Sundered Sky can get for the early burst damage. I mean, you saw me pretty much 3-shot him there. So it can be pretty insane here. And then now, even then, I'm still staying up really long. You can see how I'm completely out of mana now. Normally, I don't run out of mana on Jayce very often, but I'm staying up a lot longer now in these fights, kind of waiting to recall a bit longer, being a bit greedier. trying out this playstyle. And you can get punished for this playstyle too. If you make mistakes, it's more, you know, risky. I've even been going Proto Belt as well. That actually really helps make some aggressive plays with this build too. And in this build, you're a bit tankier than the other builds. So that's another thing that I've been doing. Also interesting to try. And then here, I think I missed time. The thing on the Yone, yeah, I could have killed him. They end up getting the dragon. Not the end of the world though. We can go towards mid and start to pressure the mid turret potentially. Playing around turrets, again, Jayce is a great split pusher and like a great turret pusher, so trying to get turrets as much as you possibly can as well is a very important thing. And then another thing I noticed about watching the Chinese Jayce play, he uses his third ability a lot differently than me. Like, I mostly just use my third ability as a, you know, bonus for my first ability, right? Like to make it, you know, do more damage and go farther. But he'll quite frequently use it to actually like run away, and then he'll like Q backwards on people. Like he'll use the third ability first to kind of get the movement speed out of it, and then first ability people afterwards. So that's another thing as well that I'm kind of looking at doing more on Jayce when I can and everything like that. But here you see like we have a huge gold lead. I'm really fed, but the rest of the team's still not doing very good. So we still need to find ways to like kind of hard carry fights later if we do want to come back, or not come back, but you know. And, you know, close out this game, because we're only up 2k gold as a team, even though I'm up like 4k. I think at some point in this game, I might be up like 7 or 8k gold at some point, so I get really, really fed. And then here again, you see how I'm going straight towards mid lane, because they're not really pressuring my bot turret, so I'm just like, okay, let me just go mid first, and then I can come grab the bot wave after. At this point, if my team goes and dies topside, it's not the end of the world. I was trying a bit more, again, to play around them, but because we have the Scorpion here, and because I'm really fed, I end up wanting to try here. And then here I end up seeing the Viego obviously with the Yuumi, and I want to do, again, I'm kind of playing to try to limit test with this build, and so I wanted to see, can I potentially outplay him? So I'm trying to see if he uses his dash on me. He does. So I Proto Belt in, try to kill him here, just kind of see how much damage I can do. And luckily the Zed's there, so then he can end up getting them. So again, risky play by me, honestly, but I wanted to see how the build would work out, how much damage I could do, even into a fed Yuumi Viego. Obviously wasn't really going to be enough, but we had the Zed there luckily coming, so we could make the play on him, and then because of that, we can get the Baron. So it will be a little bit risky, but the Baron is looking good, so we want to try to get it. Another thing, I'm just trying to be more, you know, quick with these plays too, like doing the Baron rather than kind of being scared for it, just seeing if we can... I'm just trying to kind of treat these games a bit less seriously, I guess, and just play a bit more free, because it allows me to kind of improve my mechanics and just like potentially be able to hard carry, even if sometimes we're going to throw games every once in a while. I just don't want to be too afraid of potentially throwing a game. So we just end up trying to help our team get this, because we know it doesn't really matter whether or not we die at this point. We just need to get the T-Rex, and so we did. I almost killed the Jhin there. You saw even just how much my Q did alone. And so we get the T-Rex, we get out. Some people die. I die, obviously, but still not the end of the world. Pretty good, because we did get the T-Rex, and some of the gold will go on the rest of our team, whereas I was already really fed. So that's kind of nice. And then here again, we can just skip forward here until I respawn. And then normally, again, I would probably have backed right now for Black Cleaver, but instead I'm like, actually, I should just stay up to keep some pressure on, because what does it really matter if I have Black Cleaver? I'd rather use this tempo that we have to push it with this wave during the T-Rex and everything. And so even though my team's fighting there, I want to just go hit the turret. But then because it's a Garen, I know I obviously can't really kill him, so I want to see if then maybe I can go towards mid lane, but I don't remember exactly what happens here. Looks like the Viego is probably just going to be killing them. I try to go on Jhin here, but I miss. And then, yeah, here's the Viego. I think he dies? Okay, he does die. So that's good, obviously. And then we get the Yuumi there as well. You can just see the burst damage from this build. Slightly mistimed it with the Yone, but we still end up killing him. Again, this burst damage is just insane with this build. That's really, like, the main thing. That's pretty absurd, and you're a bit tankier as well. You have the healing from the Sundered Sky that you don't get from the other builds that I normally go. And then here we just go for the turret. And I want you guys to watch this 1v1 too. You normally would never win this as Jayce, but look at the damage. We're even health. I have almost no mana, and just look at this. Like, I'm still able to actually do a lot in this fight compared to what you normally would be able to do against a Garen. So don't end up killing him. He's like 1 HP in the end. I think he literally gets out on like 1 HP. Like some insanely low number, but normally you're just not winning that fight as Jayce. But with this build, you're actually able to, and I'm sitting on 3,700 gold. Like, I'm not even that strong in terms of the gold, because I have not spent that gold. So I was basically even gold with him, like, in terms of items. So the fact that I can do that well in that fight is really surprising to me, and kind of showed me the power of this build into bruisers and tankier champions is definitely a solid build. overall, and then we go for Edge of Night last because the passive there is pretty good. But you could go a lot of items last, like GA, Mob, Melmordius. You could really go Serpent's Fang, obviously, as well. You know, it could just depend on the game. Definitely a lot of things that could potentially work out, though. And then, yeah, here at this point, now I'm trying to push the side. I want my team to go towards the Baron more so, because I don't really want everyone on the same side as me when I'm split pushing. Usually not going to work out too well. So then once I see them here, I should probably end up just going towards mid lane since it doesn't make sense to stay here, which is what we end up doing. And so now I'm 4 items. The build is really strong at this point. I'm kind of just looking to see if I can fight anyone or get anything done. My team does go for the invade. You can see how I'm kind of pinging Baron because I don't want the enemy to possibly sneak it. And then this is here where we actually end up getting caught. I remember now I end up first building the bush, but I walk forward. If I walked back after I first built it, it would have been fine. But again, that's kind of where we were pinging our team. We're trying to get them to go to Baron, but that's what we probably could have set up earlier there, gotten some vision around there. And had we gotten the vision around there, it would have been a bit safer and not as worrying. So now it's looking a bit scary here, especially because the Viego gets to heal up so much, but Nami gets a decent ultimate. We get some poke on them. That ends up going forward, and then the Ahri resets here are really clutch. So we'll take it. Good job, Ahri. Them hitting the Baron as well. Baron drops resistances, so you have lower resistances if the Baron is hitting you, which ended up leading to them kind of being squishy here. And then a close fight, but our team ends up winning and ending in the bot side. So I just wanted to show you guys that Jayce build and kind of talk about especially like limit testing and sort of playing a little over aggressive and sometimes trying to like break the rules to be able to harder carry games. So let me know what you guys thought about this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video.